into the hive.
Welcome to the hive.
Back together again. Happy birthday corner, perhaps?
Welcome to Dempsey's Den with me, Sophie. I have some birthday shout outs.
Do it.
I do.
Fucking birthday time.
I like that people feel as free as possible to request shout outs. Now, here we go. I'm pretty sure I haven't done this one.
Come on, give it in.
Shauna, you're 30.
Wow.
And flirty and dirty, you little bitch.
Downhill from there.
Here we go. Shauna, you're a huge fan.
You're a huge fan.
You love us. Your friend, Rebecca Ann Daly.
Hooray.
Rebecca
For
and
friends.
Megan love you, and they particularly love you because you got them into us.
And
we're all
everyone loves us.
inside each other, nesting
And
together.
that's what we're here to remember. It's all about us.
It's all about us.
It's all about us, baby.
Obnoxious in the extreme.
Okay, so Shauna, many happy returns from your favorite creeps, Jen, Cassie, and Soph. Jen will breastfeed you for your 30th birthday present should you wish to present yourself here at 15 Oxford Lane, Dublin 6.
Suckle on. I got milk enough for each and every one of you.
She's still lactating. She keeps her supply up.
I do.
Should any creeps need.
I do, through stimulation.
Yes.
There wasn't a very
Do you
interesting
look at-
story.
You have to look at pictures of your children.
And the milk will come.
yeah, it's quite weird.
Interesting story of the 1800s. A man arrested, put in jail. The jail had a window to the road. He was being starved as a way of punishment. His daughter had just had a baby. She would visit her dad and breastfeed him through the bars of the jail to keep him alive. And he lived. A success. Is it a line? I would suckle from each and every one of you if it was life or death situation.
That's fine.
You wouldn't
Yeah,
get
You're
much
not
from
my
me.
dad.
That's a complicated
And I'm not your daughter. That's
thing.
all fine.
Is it?
I don't like this dad-daughter thing.
Oh, it's a bit sex-based. When it comes to the end for men, do you think they would still get an erection? If
Yeah,
were-
they get an erection as corpses.
Oh,
Sometimes.
interesting. Like just kind of a reflex, blood flow?
It's just the reflex for a man is to try and quickly rub one out before the end, before it's too. It's like, oh, it's
I
coming,
zoned
it's coming.
out and zoned back in there, and
Yeah.
I don't. It's I think every episode starts with some sort of bodily fluid.
We have needed any new examples of how crazy America is, you know that like breastfeeding mothers have reported feeling like a slight stimulation to the erogenous zone
Okay.
during the act of breastfeeding. It's not completely fucking unheard of.
Yeah.
And it certainly doesn't mean that you have a boner for your baby.
No.
It's just something happening inside your body.
Yes.
American, like ones, I can't remember what state in America, I think it was about 15 years ago.
I remember this
took
well.
a baby away from its mother because she like
Was orgasming
Kind of-
away publicly.
she wasn't even
No.
climaxing.
She.
But like,
Yeah.
it's so fucked up. This
Batshit.
is a real story. They took a baby away from her mother because she like just mentioned kind of anecdotally, like to the public health nurse or somebody, oh, isn't it kind of funny the way it gives you a little tingle down in the tangle?
And they were like, get that
And they were
baby
like,
out of that pervert.
what the fuck?
That woman is a pervert.
Yeah,
Do you know what's interesting about Bison?
it's really sad.
You know how you're supposed to
Jeez,
have
I
to
thought you
drink
said
buff-
Biden, and I was like, now, how are we
Wow.
going to get from
Buffalo
horny breastfeeding to Joe Biden? I'm
buffalo
ready.
milk.
Yeah.
Not a thing. It's a lie.
What about buffalo mozzarella?
Lies.
Jokes. I know that's not from buffaloes.
I thought it was because it's a
Oh my
buffalo.
God,
It's
this
a type
is
of
brand
cow.
new information.
Yes, you can't. They're too.
I thought there was buffalo grazing in West Cork.
So did I.
For the Toonsbridge mozzarella.
Yeah, no.
It's just
I'm
it's called
such a
buffalo
dum-dum.
because of its size, presumably, is it, or something?
Do you know what is the superior soft cheese, really?
Which
Oh,
A
burrata.
I get a bit gobby and a bit.
Don't leave me hanging.
No, oh my God. Do you know what is a great dish now that I've been doing for starters? This is the content you guys want.
Came for it, yeah.
Is grilled peach
Oh, this is good.
burrata,
Yeah.
and a very nice citrusy pesto.
And could I actually make a suggestion of introducing maybe just a little bit of fresh mint?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Balsamic? No.
You
I
could.
would do.
Yes.
I'm personally not actually a pesto fan.
Yeah. Why?
Basic. It's a bit basic.
Bit basic.
It can be.
I'm sorry.
A little bit of lemon zest in there really lifts
You make your
it.
own candles. You couldn't be more basic.
I don't make
God,
the
you're
candles.
knitting.
Why are we attacking each other?
Pot calling kettle.
You're knitting as you wear a hat.
Knitting swathed in knitwear.
And what's, you know what?
You make
What's
your own
wrong?
candles.
We're in a pandemic. What's wrong with being basic? I don't make the
Nothing.
candles.
We
Actually,
need
I
to be
enjoy the
basic if
sense
we're
of
gonna
them.
survive this
But you know what I
pandemic.
did sign up for? A pottery course.
Did you?
Wednesdays,
Cassie.
4:30 to 6:30 starts the 26th of January.
I
Fellow
love
creep Rebecca
you.
Murphy is doing it also.
She didn't invite me.
Well,
For
maybe she was afraid of your reaction.
Calling her basic, perhaps. Who could have known that candle making
this
would
won't be forgotten, Rebecca.
a basic?
I'm WhatsApping
And
you right
pottery
now,
not.
Rebecca.
Sorry, I don't have anything to do with the candles. Lydia has a candle company
Yes.
that's very. She's made a load of money, not basic.
Don't tell me, tell her.
Anyway,
I'm
I
just
am
gonna
basic.
write,
I'm embracing it.
didn't
Pesto, burrata,
want to
grilled peach, and
pottery
pottery.
anyway.
I am going to serve you guys pesto, burrata, and grilled peaches on some homemade crockery in the next.
Wait for
Yeah.
it.
Who's that? She
My
signed up to
text
the
to
course.
Rebecca for not inviting me to pottery. Okay, birthday corner is not actually over, by the way.
Can I just tell you about a bison's nipple?
Okay, quick.
Somebody was trying to milk one of them. They are ferocious creatures.
I'd say.
Like they can run 35 miles an hour. They weigh as much as 2 double-decker buses. And someone was trying to get in at a teat. And what did they discover? Teat wasn't big enough even to be milked as is.
What?
It was almost the size of a cat's nipple. It
That
was that
seems
miniature.
so out of proportion.
So the lips of, well, I think, what are they called again? Baby bison. I think they're called boys.
Oh, a bisonette?
A bisonette. Obviously lips very astute into grasping and suckling, but human
Like
fingers.
a cat's anus.
You just couldn't milk a bison for
The
love
grip
nor money.
of a cat anus would take
Suction.
care of a bison
Yeah,
nipple.
sphincter.
Not a problem.
and hold a tea towel.
Speaking
And
of-
hold a tea towel. No problem at all.
Oh my god, do you think one of those exists with the cat's tail and the hind leg?
Absolutely.
Oh my god, if not, new line of creep merch. Cassie, please tell me that you're looking up
Cat's
cat
arse.
arse tea towel holder.
Well, what do you want today on the Hive?
I want to wish Declan
That's
a happy
exactly
birthday or
how
he
I
will come
imagine
for
it.
me.
Happy birthday,
We're going to
Declan.
send you a branded cat arse tea towel.
Declan's
Coming your way.
birthday shout out is so quintessentially Declan. It's not coming from a friend of Declan.
It's just Declan.
It's coming direct from Declan. I love you. Declan, hi guys. It's my birthday today. Gives a bit of a birthday shout out.
Oh,
Hope you're all doing fab. Thanks, Declan.
That
We
killed him.
are. Declan made it into my reworking of We Didn't Start the Fire.
Where did you put that so? I've been wanting to play it.
Oh, you know I never handed it over.
You didn't.
I'll put it up on the Patreon today.
Yes, please
God
do.
damn it, I want people to appreciate that work.
We
That was
put
a
up the
whole
other-
afternoon of my life. Rhyming hamsters with jamsters.
Cass, who wants to kick us off?
I'm on branded cat arse tea towel holders. Coming back.
Into
to
Agatha
you.
Christie, shall we? Do you know
Yay.
who's sold more books than any individual ever?
J.K. Rowling and Jesus.
Correct. And then, right after, Agatha Christie has burned J.K. Rowling. She is the fucking cream of the crop in terms of book sales.
Where's
It is
Agatha Christie land? I'd go there.
Unbelievable, lads. And she's written the best books ever,
I
apparently.
said written. And I
And
was
she,
like,
and she was
she is
brilliant.
hot to try.
She hated publicity. She couldn't bear to have her photo taken. Couldn't stop writing
Nothing like us.
murder mysteries. A compulsive writer. Everything you'd imagine that might take place in a murder. She wasn't massively keen on violence. Agatha Christie has covered it.
I know.
Absolutely
I don't care
amazing.
For her. It's really weird. I think it's because it's too
Basic. People have
Yeah.
accused her of being basic, and then have accused her of being overcomplicated with plots. However,
How can you be both basic and overcomplicated? Agatha Christie might have just loved a bit of pesto and writing her books, and that's fine. A Quiet Mind
She was
Something to strive for.
she one time she was writing like 3 or 4 books a year.
Oh, it's so
Fair play.
stressful. Jesus Christ.
She was a powerhouse.
I
of the
forgot how
writing.
this story was going to trigger me.
Oh yes,
I'm on
I'm
a
sorry.
lot of deadlines right now,
She
Jen.
could write so quickly, Sofs. Unbelievable.
You know that book that you're supposed to be finishing? She's already finished it.
Oh, she did. She already wrote that.
She wrote it,
You're just
finished it,
It's slow at
and
copying.
refused to publicize it, and she's still more successful than every other writer ever.
She is a woman to behold. She was a powerhouse. She rejected PR. She didn't want her photograph taken. Get out of my face. I'm not doing a selfie. There shall be no autographs, or very few. And I just want to live in my nice big house and write my fucking books and drink tea. And she loved to knit. And she wanted that life.
Did you throw in the knitting thing for me?
I think I read it somewhere. Anyway, millions and millions of books. Everything you can imagine. Remember Poirot?
Yeah, him.
And the Orient Express?
Yeah.
And then there was one about a hotel and all the people in the hotel. Can't remember what it's called. I think it was called something.
Faulty Towers.
American
They
Horror.
reimagined it as an annoying comedy.
Each
There,
member.
I've said it. Faulty Towers is fucking annoying.
I agree. I'm
you.
not a fan.
Yeah.
But anyway, this hotel contained individuals in the hotel. Each of them had killed someone, right?
Yeah,
but
only murders in the hotel.
never been charged. So one by one,
What is
they
this
were
one
picked
called?
off.
I
could
know
find
what
it
you did last summer.
in this hotel. So each one died, and they were brilliant stories. Everyone loved them. She was fucking huge. She even was big in America, and we're talking like the very early
She broke
20.
America.
We're talking about 1910, 1911. She broke America.
Yeah.
She was selling hand over foot. She was raking it in,
And she wasn't even big on socials.
and she was not big on social.
Back in the day when you could do a fucking thing without fucking
she
Twitter and TikTok.
she met and loved an individual man.
Yes. But
Now-
she loved women too.
Did she?
Oh, I might be confusing her with Daphne du Maurier.
You might be. That
Who-
could be the case, but I have found no proof.
Okay.
Anyway, she was currently living with her lovely husband, whose name I will find. Not lovely. He was very good at piloting airplanes, which was his job for the army. He was a pilot. And they fell in love pre-war. They got married very young. Then when he came back, they had a lovely daughter called Rosalind. And everything looked tickety-boo. Until
Boom.
it didn't. The thing about the husband was he loved to dip his little willy into literally
Every ink pot
everything.
going.
everything. If you were just slowly
Into the fucking
moving
cat
by
or
him.
tea towel holder.
Oh, God, the pain.
fucking.
And
What's a little
grip.
circumcision, I'd say.
that's it. And if you moved slowly by him, you would consider yourself dipped. And there's only so much you could do. Now, Agatha was away writing books for a lot of the time, and away just being in a room in the house. So I'd say she kind of managed to kind of sideswipe a lot of his philanderings in terms of just being sort of occupied, obsessively writing. But then there came an affair that she couldn't take her eye off. Now, let me get into it with you. And it was the straw that broke Agatha's back. And this affair, her husband confessed to her, Archie was his name. Yes, Agatha, I've met a woman. She's quite a bit younger than you and more attractive in many ways.
Oh, no.
And I love her, Agatha.
Don't hold back, Archie.
And Agatha was like, well, fuck you, Archie. I hate you now. Let's continue the way we're going for the time being. And Archie was like, right. Does that mean we stay in the house? And Agatha was like, yeah, we'll just stay in the house and we'll work it out. I just need time to process. And Archie was like, okay, fine. You take the time to process. Everything will be fine. And moved away slowly. Then came the night of December 3rd. We're in the year 1926. These are sort of heyday for rich people if you're rich, shit days if you're poor. The rich in these times, if you lived in England, there's a good chance you would just go to Egypt on your holidays. You were living a very nice life, Agatha was, with her husband. And he was reaping all the fucking benefits.
I feel like this is around the time where they used to just kind of like drift around mainland Europe and like
Absolutely.
kind of hang around
Excursions,
with
they weren't even holidays.
like F. Scott Fitzgerald and
tours.
shit.
Funny you say that. So anyway, they were doing all... So here we are. The night rolled in. It was a freezing cold night. Agatha told the nanny, you mind, Rosalind, now. I'm going on a drive to clear my head. Nanny was like, this is unusual, but not totally out of the ordinary.
To have a nanny, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would.
Jesus, I can taste how delicious that must be.
So she drove away into the night in her car. No sign of her that night. The morning rolled in. An abandoned car was found. Miles away, it was found by Surrey police, and it was half submerged in bushes. And nearby was sort of a watery space. So the police were like, well, that's Agatha's car abandoned. And there's a body of water. Where
You sure
is
it's not
she?
a watery space?
A watery space, a space of water. Anyway, they were like, what did she do? Where's Agatha? Let's drain this watery space. And see if we can find her. And the police were like, right, well, she's not here. We can't fucking find her anywhere. We know this is her car. Where the hell is she? Where is she? We need everyone on board. 10,000 people joined the search for Agatha. Like, that was back in the day, pre-internet.
Sorry, I just always think back to that one who joined the search for herself.
Oh, yeah.
Who are we looking for, guys?
It's great. Just get together, finding lost bodies. Anyway, it was huge, right?
10,000.
Huge.
And
She
how
was
many
on-
would that be in today's terms?
That could be millions,
That
Sophie.
could be tens of millions.
Find Agatha Christie was on every headline of the newspapers. This is how they spread the word about her missing self. Pictures of Agatha. Everyone already knew who she was. They were like, where are we going to find her? I know. Let's call in a few of basically the police were like, this is a murder mystery. It's almost like Agatha Christie has written it herself.
They were loving it.
It was
this a viral ad campaign?
Well, that was, as it turned out, was suggested later on. However, guess who slung their hook into many other famous writers of the time? A little known writer by the name of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle phoned in. Now, at the time, Sherlock, writer of Sherlock. Now, the thing about Arthur at the time was he was...
Cassie's WhatsApp picture.
Cassie's WhatsApp. He was fucking obsessed with the occult. He was steeped in spirit. Do you remember the movement of spiritualism?
Yeah.
And he was completely loving this and was like, I'm fully in. I need one of her gloves. I'm going to rub it under the nose of my psychic. And much like a sniffer dog, we're going to sniff out Agatha. So on arrived Sir Arthur Conan Doyle with his harem of spiritualization people and mystics. And they went into the house and gathered some belongings of Agatha Christie and tried a few seances and continued sort of this line of questioning.
Fucking what a buzz. So much
At
fun.
this point, Archie, her husband, was in the gaff.
Fuck off, Archie.
Suspect number one.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Right.
Where were you, Archie?
Nobody knew about the affair was the only thing at this point. But they knew Archie. They were like, this guy. So he was getting fingered a little. And they were like, right, Archie, so what do you know here? And Archie sort of fessed up and said, look, we were doing this affair, me and this girl, what was her name again?
Elizabeth?
Nancy, I think. Classic affair
One of
name.
them.
No,
It's
she-
Wasn't
either
it
Elizabeth
Mitford, was
Nancy.
it?
I can't. Let's call her Teresa Neal. Is that her name? Something Neal, right? Nancy Neal. Let's call her. So Archie was like, "Look, I fessed up to Agatha. I'm doing this affair." The police were like, "Okay, well, did you kill her?" Archie said no. The police were like, "Acceptable. We'll move on with our looking around for her."
Okay.
It was so much easier to do a crime back then.
Much
It really
easier.
was.
Honestly.
It was much easier to disappear. Okay, so over a week of time lapsed.
I
No
know, do you know
sign
what
of
this
her.
reminds me of a lot is the do you remember Richie from the Manic Street Preachers?
Yes, so we must do that one.
Did he just take himself away?
He did, took himself
And
away.
it was the same. The car was found.
Yeah.
I seem to remember his passport and details in the car were there.
And he's grand.
Oh,
Well, no.
no, we've never found out what happened. to
Yeah,
Richie.
exactly.
Really?
Exactly.
It reminds me of Richard Simmons, and he was just like, "Leave me alone."
Just
That
Dan
never was there a
Taberski,
worse
just
ending
stop
for a podcast.
making your podcast. I know he really redeemed himself though with 9/12.
Now,
Did he? Oh, I must listen to that one.
the story
love it.
of Agatha Christie ends luckily without blue ball. Enter a new person, Theodore, a banjo player.
Natch.
Theodore
Mumford and Sons.
was a member of Mumford and Sons and used to play with Mumford in a hotel in Harrogate by the name of the Hydropathic Hotel.
That is a catchy ass name for a hotel.
I think it's called the Old
It
Swan
sounds
now.
medicinal. Hydropathic.
It sounds like
hotel, it was
the
very
thing where they
nice.
wash your intestines out with the hose.
Oh, the colonic. It
Yeah.
was famous for its colonics. So anyway, so Thomas was on the banjo doing his thing. And he sees someone in the audience.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's fucking Agatha Christie. Doesn't stop playing.
Good for
Continues
Show
the
must go
song.
on.
And he's like, Jesus
Consummate
Christ.
professional.
That's definitely Agatha. Tried to approach. She said, I don't know of anybody by that name.
Liar.
Wiley.
Everyone knew of Agatha Christie.
Thomas goes, rings the Surrey police. They're like, you're kidding me. And they start steaming their way down there. But they get Archie in the car.
Ugh, steamy police is just
So
somehow
11
gross, Jen.
days had passed, right?
Yeah.
And Agatha was found in a full ball gown, as they did, sitting in the hotel ball room with other people in ball gowns. She wasn't just there. So
She
they,
stuck out like a sore thumb.
thumb.
Better to be overdressed than underdressed. Is that what
Exactly.
they say?
so they
What
burst
good is
in.
it being a mystery woman if you can't see me and notice me everywhere?
She's probably like, it's been 11 fucking days and no one has come looking for me.
They burst in. Archie took the lead. He was like, Agatha, Agatha, thank goodness, grasping her hand, that we found you, my darling Agatha.
She was like, don't touch me, you fucking cum-encrusted creep.
Exactly. She
Yeah.
whipped her hand back and she was like, I don't know you. I don't know anything about you. And who the fuck is Agatha anyway? And the police were like, this is confusing. She's ticking a lot of boxes here. I mean, she looks very much like Agatha Christie. Like, very much.
She's writing.
She's currently writing.
She's taking all of this down.
She is. There's just, so they were like, okay, lady.
Signing autographs over there.
Let's just check a few things here. So they asked her a few questions. She couldn't come up with any goods. She didn't know what her name was. She knew her name wasn't Agatha. And they were like,
Failed to
She
prepare,
is
prepared to
Samantha
fail.
as a body. She should
fucking
have
is.
just gone with the no speak
She
or
could-
pretend to be like a 12-year-old schoolboy.
she froze, obviously, without a plan, is what it seemed like. And so they were like, do you know what? We'll check what she signed in under, just in case this isn't Agatha. We'll see. Who did she check in under? Only the fucking name of the mistress.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm
A
saying?
little trust of
So
the shiv.
Complete.
Very good.
Real finger in your eye there.
I'm gonna fucking peg you, Archie.
So exactly. So the police were like, I see what you've done here, Agatha. We see that you've done this signing in business. Still, she held firm. I don't know who you are. I've never heard of that woman. I don't even know who the name of the woman you're suggesting I signed in is under. So seemingly they just bundled her into the car with Archie and sent her home regardless. She had many, many ball gowns packed in the bag upstairs. It sounded like she really had packed for an
It's
extravagant
probably
time.
the equivalent of a breakup bot and going off to Ibiza for 2 weeks.
Yes,
after
Cass.
a shit relationship.
So that's exactly, so that all signs
Instagrams.
are pointing to this being
Yeah.
the reason. But she got home with Archie and she still refused to kind of come clean about what the fuck is going on. And she was like, look, I might have had an accident in the car. Maybe I banged my head. I could be in a fugue state. This could be amnesia. And Archie was like, acceptable. I accept all those things. Do you remember when I told you about the affair though?
Huh?
And she was like, I do in fact remember everything about that.
You bastard.
I really do. So she was shot of him, basically, which
for
was
her.
great. She went on to continue. She met another man. She lived a very long life. She died at 85.
Fair bolster.
She was prolific again after that fact. She never spoke about this event again. She even wrote 2 autobiographies and just she never mentioned it.
I thought that's blue ball.
That is a little blue ball, but
Yeah.
it very much is the case of a woman who was just pushed too far.
Yeah.
And we really need to hold Archie accountable. He just went off with this, divorce settlement. He, in fact, married Nancy Neal. I think that's her name. And they went on to live together forever. And that's a thing that happened. But back to Agatha.
Did he get
hero.
money out of Agatha?
Definitely. I know.
Sick.
Sick, isn't it?
What
So
a prick.
So she went on to keep riding. She met another man. She lived a good life.
He was
but
very handsome.
never ever scratched the itch for the rest of us about what really happened there.
I would say it was a massive toys out of pram moment. She was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you think I'm dead.
Yeah, you
Fuck
carry
all
on
of
without
you.
me and see how...
I'm going to go get the, what do they used to kind of call it? Like, I'll go and have the cure at the sea air.
Yeah.
I don't know. Go to a few balls.
Yeah, I know.
know.
But like, I feel like I love Agatha Christie's story. I like that story. She's a tough woman and what a
Fair
woman.
play to her.
Wow.
I
Only
like that.
outsold by the Bible, I believe. Isn't that incredible?
Absolutely incredible.
And there you go. Murder mystery. Takes you to the end.
Thank
and
you, Jennifer.
Pushes you directly over the edge.
I
Thank
imagine
you.
it would.
It will, often.
Do you want to hear about why gyms are? You shouldn't bother.
Yes.
100%.
Don't even.
Timely.
It's January.
Considering going near a
just
gym?
Don't bother, right?
Retreat.
So this is a story about a gym.
Is it a man called gym?
No, about a gym gang.
GYM.
Gym gangs of people in Miami. So
Gym gangs.
yeah,
Like the West Side Story?
kind of.
Were they sort of fighting?
They really liked working out. They're real buff, beefy lads. Didn't love
fucking
working. So
thick
they were
neck.
like, let's work out. How do we get easy money out of people? How can we just do this? Big, oafy men.
Great.
Right?
Gym bros.
Gym bros.
Yeah.
And this is back in 1995 in Miami, right? And the story kind of starts with this man called Frank Griga, who was a Hungarian immigrant who moved to the US to live out the American dream, to make loads of money. And he did. He made loads of money setting up a very successful phone sex hotline.
Yes.
Good
Very
man.
cool.
Yeah.
Nobody's hurt by that.
Not really. I mean,
No touching.
there's no
The tech
touching.
takeover killed it, I'd say.
Do you reckon?
Yeah,
Do you
definitely.
remember you used to see them in phone boxes, as if you'd go to the phone box to ring one and then be
Yeah.
viewed by everybody around?
But maybe in the early 90s, this was landlines
Yeah,
in
you'd
the
have
early
a
90s.
landline.
Before that, I guess probably not. But I love the thought of some just like, scrolling there on your phone and being like, yeah, I love that. Thank you. Like behind
That's what
it.
they were doing.
And they were
Thank
making
you.
mints. Yeah.
you,
Keep
Cassie.
going. Love that for you and
real,
me.
real insight.
I'm
into
really
it.
You could just
into
play
it.
Miranda with Che Diaz, just her side of the.
We just
Yeah,
watched.
We all just got together and watched the
We
sex
did.
scene ourselves in isolation,
In
out
sex-
of context.
Never mind.
No,
Keep
no,
going.
I've seen
Oh,
it.
it's
absolutely unnecessary.
it's
Ferg
intense.
made us do it.
It was intense.
Very.
No need. Anyway, but that's what Miranda was doing.
Kind of like
yeah.
that behind the hand, wasn't it?
Yeah, barking. So imagine Miranda, someone like one hand is on the cooker and the other hand's on the phone.
Yeah.
Like, love that.
Yeah, love that for us.
So he made loads of money anyway, Frank. And so Frank was driving this yellow Lamborghini. Loved it. He had a girlfriend who was 23-year-old Christina.
Poor Christina.
Frank was 33 at the time that
Okay.
this story happens, right? And basically, he was like well known in Miami as someone who was very wealthy, driving around his Lamborghini, yada, yada, yada. Except one day in May 1995, Frank and Christina go missing. Their housekeeper goes into their home, finds no sign of the couple, but their dog was there alone, which set off alarm bells. They had been planning a trip to the Bahamas, but the plane tickets, were in the house on the counter. So they're not gone to the Bahamas.
Where's the Lamborghini?
Where are they?
Yeah, I
The
don't know why I'm
Lamborghini
really concerned with the
was
Lamborghini
found
as well.
abandoned in the
Near a-
Everglades.
Was it a
So
glaze of
nearby,
water?
near a body of water, doors
watery
left open, just beside a watery space and a cloudy sky on a day in May 1995.
No sign of them.
No sign of them, right? Their housekeeper was like, Frank and Christina would never do that. They'd never leave their dog behind and just run off. So something is bizarre.
People
here.
are so attached.
Yeah. Their friend, Judy, was like, yeah, this seems unusual. definitely seems out of character for them. They were unable to make contact with Frank or Christina, and they filed a missing persons report, told the police that they were last seen the night before the housekeeper had found them. So they were last seen walking their dog. And then a neighbor was like, oh, but I saw them heading out last night with 2 men, as if they were going out for dinner. So they were described as like the perfect couple. They were fit together like hand in glove. One of the prosecutors said after,
Kind of
right?
graphic,
Isn't it? It's very specific.
Like one would often wear the
Especially-
skin of the other.
Especially if you've ever put 2 fingers in the one finger hole in a glove. It's
not
an
enough
awkward
room.
thing.
There isn't.
So there was no red flags as to like, you know, they weren't looking at each other as suspects,
Yes.
other than the hand glove thing.
Yep.
Frank's ex-girlfriend Beatrice, who was a stripper at Solid Gold where he had met Christina, insisted that they were like a really nice couple. There was nothing out of the ordinary.
No
There was
violence.
no violence, nothing, whatever. Carr had no clues, searched the house, brought up no clues.
Just a single handless glove resting on the wheel of the car.
Hand in
So
glove.
the police were absolutely baffled, and all they had to go on was this description of the 2 men. They were walking out with these 2 men. They described the 2 men as chiseled Adonis with long black hair, very
Long
good
black
looking
hair.
men.
Notably
Ferg.
hot.
Yeah, very beefy, very
Ripped.
weightlifting as they were going out. These 2 beefy Adonis that they're walking out, right? Adoni. So when they were talking to police about this, one of the homicide captains, Al Harper, was like, "Oh, this sounds really familiar. Someone has told me about this." And basically he was like,
One of the witnesses. He was
no, he was like, it's triggering. I've heard a story similar to this, that these 2 beefy, handsome men walking people away from their house. And he got to thinking and remembered his friend, a private investigator named Ed Dubois, who had told him a story of this crazy, outlandish case where a wealthy businessman called Mark Schuyler had been kidnapped and held for over a month in a Miami Lakes warehouse. So the kidnappers had kept him blindfolded and shackled, not letting him have any food, beating him, burning him with cigarettes, and forced him to sign papers turning over all of his assets to them.
So this is what happened.
But this was just a private detective case. This had never made it to the police. So it was never on official police records. Ed Dubois was just a private investigator that had been hired to figure out what had happened. But your man, Mark, said he had been treated like a prisoner of war. It was horrendous.
Breastfed by his daughter
I
through
know,
the
I was
bars
about
of a
to say,
jail.
just unfurled a tit through the bars.
The kidnappers had plied him full of alcohol, put him in a car, put the car in the thing, and tried to like feign a traffic accident. Pushed him, lit the vehicle on fire, pushed him in, did the classic roll down the hill, EastEnders kind of
Really
move,
classic.
This
Just
miming
the
out.
classic
This
little thing. Like put the body in, put the alcohol, the vodka in the mouth, turn the car on, brick on the thing and down, and there's a bit of fire.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, he crashed the car when he was drunk,
Clearly.
right? But Mark, despite being treated like a prisoner of war in his own words, for that length of time, managed to claw himself out of the car and survived. But he couldn't go to the police because his business dealings had been really dodgy.
Oh,
So he couldn't go to the police and be like, they have
Help me.
taken all my assets, which I
When he was a
potentially robbed
criminal
from
anyway.
somewhere else and all that kind of stuff. So that's when he hired Ed Dubois, but who had never managed to catch the guys, right? So when he got in touch with the police, they came together and found a clue that were the documents giving away Mark's funds had been notarized by a CPA named John Mees, who owned the Sun Gym in Miami.
the beefy men.
The beefy men. So when they went to talk to the beefy men at the Sun Gym, the men were like, that was just a business deal that we had with Mark where he agreed to give us all of his assets.
Yeah.
But the investigator noticed a massive piece of evidence well placed in a room to wait to speak to John. A trash can in the room was overflowing with paper. So they stole the papers and turned out to be the incriminating evidence that exposed a network of 11 men involved in the kidnapping and plot. Imagine
Holy
that
moly.
the police arrive.
Yeah.
You get all the First of all, you're writing down all the like
Crime
like,
committed
the play.
today.
It's like
a
to-do list.
Yes.
Dear
So
diary.
John is going to be off here. Beefy B is going to be over here.
All
yada, yada,
committing
yada.
crimes.
11, hand over documents. And the police arrive and all he does is he crumples them up and puts them in a trash can
a
in the
bin.
room. He's like, sit over there. Don't look there.
Don't
Don't
look
look
at
over
that.
there.
Yeah.
So the Dubois was basically like these morons had taken documents that were evidence of the crimes, threw it away in a garbage can in the conference room where they put the investigator. So
Just sit quietly in there alone now for a minute with all of these crumpled up documents.
Hush. Don't mind that there.
yeah, but when Dubois was going to the police with this, they were like, we can't really deal with this. It seems like Mark is also a drug dealer and trying to just get rid of like rival gangs or trying to be, just trying to cover up his own tracks. But it was only then after Frank and Christina had gone missing that they were like, oh no, this seems like it's actually probably a problem that we should investigate these, right? So Dubois handed over all the names and the information to the investigators who went to look for the suspects. The ringleader was a man named Danny Lugo, 32-year-old
Lube that man up.
bodybuilder and convicted felon who defrauded
wear his
elderly
glove.
people out of millions in an insurance scheme years ago.
That's mean. You don't want to be at that.
No. Lugo had been hired by John Mees, the manager of the Sun Gym, and then another guy called Adrian Doorbell, a 28-year-old.
Excuse me. Adrian Doorbell.
Doorbell. Literally D-O-R-B-A-L.
Doorbell it is.
He was a trainer. Yeah, another trainer at the gym. Another guy called Jorge. Another
whore.
trainer.
I miss whore.
Yeah.
I know I'm always trying to bring it back, but
There's a good Twitter account, Whores of Yore.
I love whores of yore.
Sorry, Chris.
So yeah, basically these all of these trainers in this place called the Sun Gym had come together and be like, we should call ourselves the Sun Gym Gang.
Now, not catchy.
Not at all.
catchy.
It's a bit on the
Nose.
It's a bit on the nose.
Like if they'd all changed their name to Gym and called themselves the Sun Gyms.
Way
Way better. And we
Confusing.
always...
Also, very
Now-
baffling for evidence. Which gym was it?
Very
They're like,
sad.
that gym.
Gym. It was Gym.
Exactly.
And then the other guy's like, oh my God, being a police officer in Cluedo is so trying. They have outsmarted me with their gym.
So in total, there were 11 trainers from the gym involved in this plot, in this gang. They had actually, their plan was to go and they would tranquilize their victims, subdue them, bring them back in, try and extort their assets out of them. They cut up bodies with hatchets, put them in
they were
50-gallon
killing
drums.
people.
Yes, they killed Frank and Christine.
Oh dear.
They killed them.
I was sure we were going to find them.
No. People said in the defense afterwards, they were like, was it roid rage?
Oh.
I mean, yes.
That's
Maybe.
like the Twinkie defense.
Yeah.
Do you know they discovered that steroids actually increase the size of your penis?
Why? What had they previously thought it decreased it?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Is that why everyone's so mad?
I think so. Just a little.
They did some other ludicrous things. They had horrific activities and like really bizarre plots. Like they dressed as ninjas at one point.
Like
Another
that's
time with spy gear.
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
Do we have any photographs
Did it all
of them?
just
Two of
develop
them were
around
sentenced to
the
death in
bench
1998, and one was John, who owned the gym, was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Another was sentenced to 8, but Lugo and Doorbell were sentenced to death.
Jesus.
For
I mean, I know they killed people, but it also
they had killed. So they had killed Frank, and they
Fucking hell. That
killed
got out of
Christine
control.
as well. So it was the two of them. Then they tried to use a chainsaw to cut them into pieces, but Christine's hair got tangled in the blades
Oh my
and
God.
stopped it from working. It was obviously a cheap chainsaw.
So dark.
That is so
That's
dark.
an Aldi miscellaneous style chainsaw.
Yeah,
That's
and
weird.
then
This is like a
this
Coen
is just-
Brothers film.
it was turned into a film afterwards.
I'm looking at
starring
Mark
Mark Wahlberg and Johnson, The Rock Dwayne
The Rock
Johnson,
Johnson!
which is the perfect kind of casting for something like this.
Absolutely stunning casting.
But in a more bizarre move, when the chainsaw broke, they tried to return it, tried to bring it back to the shop.
Full of blood and hair.
I don't know if they washed it.
Well, if it's a faulty item, you know.
They were like, this obviously didn't do what it was designed to do. So there you go. Avoid gyms and trainers, because there's a gang of them trying to kill people.
Do you get the sense there was obviously a ringleader there?
Yeah, well, Danny Lugo
Okay.
was definitely the top. John Meese, who owned the gym, who had hired Danny Lugo, and then Danny Lugo was like bringing other people into it. But they were all in it together. They were all just trying to get
Money.
But
This is
do
the
you
big
think,
idea.
Were they just hanging around cross trainers,
Yeah.
chatting, and
The rowing machine.
it's like always like the same with those kind of murderous couples where I'm like, who brought it up first?
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, how do you feel it
share
out?
that
How
kind
do
of
you
thing?
assess whether this person's going to be responsive?
Maybe they start with petty crime. Maybe they start with a little like overcharging.
Yeah.
You know,
No
or
big
like
deal.
taking, you know,
Well, it's
not
like the
giving back the
Epstein
change.
Ghislaine thing. Like, let's say you do that, and so some new guy comes in, Mick, and you're like, here, Mick, Little's just under the kind of shitty deal here. Do you want to get in on it? And Mick's like, okay, and they're like, yeah, you might make 500 quid or whatever, but like it's not exactly kosher or whatever. And Mick's like, yeah, I mean, I'm doing it, but then they have him. Because unless
They're on-
Mick
they're
now
involved in
starts
one
to do
crime.
everything they want,
Yeah.
he's going to
Yeah, I
the-
guess it's how does anyone get
slammer.
involved in any level of crime? It's that like generally there's, you know, there's something easy that comes in and then you're scared. Like The Witness is a really good podcast. Do you listen to it?
No.
About Joey Callahan and how he got involved in the gangs of Dublin, and how first of all he was collecting money, and then all of a sudden he was the one dropping off the drugs, and then he
Exactly.
was afraid that he was terrified of the people who were
working for. Yes.
yeah.
And so good God.
So the
how many people
Sun
died
Gym
altogether?
gang. That was specifically about the two of them, but I think there was more people. Let me see.
The Sun Gym gang. Sunny Gym. Fucking hell, lads. That's pretty intense.
And like,
And
and you're
that's the
always
level-
being kind of sold like physical activity is a good thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just goes to show that that's fucking bullshit.
It is.
Yeah. And it's really safer
Just to be stagnant.
to just be.
There you go. Don't go to the gym.
Do you know what I really like as well, especially about it, is the time period, the clothes would have been
Oh.
horrific.
So-
Mid-90s
Halter?
activewear,
Yeah.
Like, what do you
like-
call them?
like those
Vests?
kind of stringlets.
Yeah.
Singlets.
A singlet.
Jen and I do sports. Singlet.
Would you call it a single?
I would say like very, very unflattering joggers.
And they're exactly as you'd imagine. They've got very few necks. It's like ears to shoulder. You know,
Just a couple of ears on either shoulder.
That'll do.
beefy men.
Oh, God, lads. A wunderbar tale.
Wunderbar tail.
Sophie,
Thank
do you have an old
Cass.
nugget to take us home?
God, I do.
Oh, yeah. Did you say it's something Titanic related? No, I mean it. I thought you did say you had something that you might bring to the hive that was related to Titanic. I'm not making a fun.
You're making a fun. Stop making a fun of me.
I'm not doing a slag. Am I?
Well, okay. I'm trying to decide. Okay, like, we want less than a story, really, don't we?
Just a amuse bouche, should you have one on the
Okay.
tip of your tongue. If not,
So I was just browsing through Twitter. I can't remember what got me to the point where I became acquainted with a Twitter account of Fred West.
oh dear.
Oh,
Now, presuming this is Fred dead?
Fred's dead,
dead Fred.
but he's active on Twitter.
Gotcha.
He's got 2,305 followers.
Worrying.
And he is advertising his patio biz. I don't know if you recall some of the
course.
details of that story. So his Twitter bio is jobbing builder, patio's my specialty, family man, won't be beaten on prices. And It's fucking dark. So somebody in August of 2020 was like, you know what I'm going to do with my lockdown? I'm going to
Cosplay.
make Fred West a Twitter account. And it's just this thing that I then got quite deep down into where, so Fred's got a Twitter account. He's also in constant chat
With, let me guess,
Yeah,
is it Rose?
it's Rose.
Interesting.
And
PDA.
even darker. I have to say, I actually prefer Rose's Twitter presence. I've got to.
They've got to be the same person, though.
They've got to be the same person. Do they? I just don't know. It's annoying me now. I'm trying to find Rose. Let me just bring her up as well.
This is Twitter for you.
Honestly,
A darkness.
it's a darkness
It-
where you can go and flex your darkness very darkly should you wish to.
Indeed.
And then if you're
have a
me,
look.
you could spend like an hour with these people
Why not?
and just being like, what is the actual
Oh, his name is literally Fred West Patios.
Fred West Patios?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh, this is so annoying. I'm trying to find Rose. Just give me 1 second.
So-
I found her through an image search last time.
I'm just doing a scroll through here, and his last 16 hours ago, just ask for an alibi, tweeting at the Duke of York with... okay, it's bad. So he has the Duke Andrew with...
He's atting the fuck out of that Andrew account.
Is he?
Yes.
That's
Go
interesting.
further down. He is like in a constant one-sided conversation with that person. Oh my God, this is driving me crazy. Do you know how I found this? Actually, what started me down the road was I was putting together a video for the We Didn't Start the Fire song. And I was like, I'll get pics of everyone mentioned in the song and I'll put them together
slideshow.
Yeah.
and then like after a while of doing that I was like, I think this is a really weird legacy.
Yeah.
Like if I die next week,
I
one
want
of my
this.
last days was spent just compiling like Ed Kemper and BTK and when it got to the part where I was like trying to find a picture of Northwest to put in beside Fred West on that line where I had like rhymed Northwest and Fred West, I was like, she is a child,
Yeah.
Sophie.
Enough is
Stop
enough.
this. But anyway, this is how I found Rosemary West's Twitter account, which is called Gloucestershire Bint.
Gloucestershire Bint.
Her location on remand and in demand. Her bio, devoted mum and loyal wife to Fred.
Oh.
Listeners from England, let me know how fucking wrong that accent is. So it's very interesting, right? So somebody set up Fred in August of 2020. Truly a cursed year. And then they set up Rosemary in October 2020. Okay?
Well,
so a
this-
couple of months
yeah.
later.
Yeah.
And so obviously Fred does a lot of atting of like royal family members and
Yes.
stuff like that. Rose does a lot of atting of Fred and also of, well, I'll just read you the first tweet. Rosemary saying, fucking fuming that at Heather Ann West 2 ain't got at Fred West Patios a card and a prezi, you horrible little shit.
Who is that person?
Heather Ann is the first daughter who was...
Oh God, it's so fucking dark.
This is darkness personified.
This is a 13-year-old.
So Heather Ann West, right?
Nobody is
was
darker.
look, I don't know. Everyone here on the Hive knows the full story of the Wests, but she was Fred and Rosemary's oldest daughter, who initially, like, her siblings talking about her being quote under the patio at school was what tipped authorities off to start investigating the Wests
Yes.
and their house and start digging up their fucking graveyard back garden.
Yeah.
And she was last seen when she was 15 or 16, like a child. This person who has set up her Twitter account has her school photograph as their fucking
Jesus,
bio.
guys. She
She has 190 followers. Who are those people? Her bio says, I'm out and back for revenge to give my mum and dad shit and bury them for a change.
This is a child.
I don't think it is. She's got like, let me see. She's constantly there atting somebody. Okay, to be fair, this is kind of funny. Somebody has photoshopped, sorry,
Oh my
Fred
gosh.
West's face onto Simply Red,
Nice.
and has made Simply Fred.
It is. It's a good pun.
It's a good.
It's
pun.
a good pun. You can't take it from them.
So like,
What is Twitter?
what
Like,
is
what
this?
is happening? It's just like a dark collection of randos interacting with each other.
It's just
in fact,
very
it's more
dark.
than one
Like,
person.
let me just tell you one tiny tweet here, okay?
Yeah.
So Rosemary West, aka Gloucestershire Bint, tweets, right? My first album cover. Dropped some mad beats on that. And it's a quote tweet. So what she's got is an image. It says, arrested April 1994, Rosemary West, rapist, sadist, serial killer, and the old picky.
Yeah.
And then the person has said, quote, you got that right, you sexy bitch. Okay? So this is just a random civilian replying to somebody pretending to be Rosemary West on Twitter. What is this? The random civilian is called Gracie. And she's like, hi, I love animals, especially dogs. I'm interested in politics, reading, and I loathe all things unequal/unfair. I'm a passionate progressive. That might be a troll account.
That is a troll account.
Yeah.
It's a lot of emojis. But anyway, how fucking
That is kind of a
random.
special type of darkness there. It's very, that way, it's sort of like borderline funny, but actually the fucking creepiest shit ever. Love to know now what individual
so bizarre.
kicked that off.
Like, here's Heather tweeting, fam, I'm sorry, everyone. My mom is going through some sort of phase where she's turned into a 16-year-old chav. And it's... And then Rosemary's answering, and she's like, I'm gonna leather you when you get back from school. You's in big trouble, my gal. And you're like,
Oh, God. It's like being trapped in a sort
the
of...
world I want to get off.
Yeah, it's that is dark. Thank you for that.
I mean, we wouldn't have known.
We wouldn't...
Had it not been for Billy Joel.
What?
We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire. No, we didn't light it, but we tried to fight it.
Dabba, dabba, dabba. Okay, that was
I
brilliant.
thought we were going to freeze frame.
Another Hive special brought to you by us.
What a
Thank you.
time to be a hive. Thank you, Ferg. Thank you, Skydie.
Maybe you enjoyed this video. Is a Hive better as a video? Is this something you want? What do you want?
What do you need?
What is it that you want? Please tell us. We'll do it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for paying. Please tell your friends.
Thank you for paying our wages.
Bring a family member in.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, well done.